Hey there, it's Kimberly here with Knit for Brains. I can't wait to show you what I finished. I can't wait, so stay tuned. This could very well be one of my most favoriteest projects ever that I've done. I know, and I've done a lot. I finished the Project Hail Mary Wolf Cardigan. This baby is awesome. Okay, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Project Hail Mary is a movie that's out in the theaters with Ryan Gosling. Fabulous book. It's a sci-fi book. I'm not usually a sci-fi person, but I loved this book. And it's written by Andy Greer. And in the movie, Ryan Gosling, who plays the lead character, wears this wolf cardigan sweater. Now, when I saw the movie, all I could think of was, I gotta make the sweater. I gotta make the sweater. The Brit was like, stop watching, watch the movie. Don't think about the sweater. I was like, I can't. When you see something, you can't unsee it. And all I could think about was, I gotta find that sweater. I did a little bit of research and I found out that the pattern was actually from like 1950s, Mary Maxim. I did a little bit of Googling and I found the pattern. Now the original has the wolves in the grays and the blacks, but in the movie here, he's wearing it more like a fox in the orange colors and whatever. And I thought, okay, so I found the pattern on Mary Maxim, and most of their patterns, they have a lot of these old vintage patterns, are going for like $5. But this one, because it's so hot right now, was going for $9.99 or something. I was like, really capitalizing on it, are we? But whatever. But you could also buy all the yarn with the pattern as well. And the yarn was, it was some of their acrylic, whatever their acrylic was. So it was going to be like $100. I was like, I am not going to be paying $100 for a bunch of acrylic. So I did a little bit of a yarn sub, and I mentioned this in the first video, but just to recap, I did some search with yarn sub, and I found that the Premier Anti-Pilling with Bamboo in the chunky was like a 92% match. The only difference was it had the bamboo in it, which was not a problem for me, and the yardage was a little different. These balls were bigger, so I needed less yarn, and these were on sale with Premier. They were like $4 a ball. Now, they're like now $4.99, so even still, but this stuff is so soft. It was such a pleasure to work with this yarn. I gotta be honest, I'm feeling a little sad that it's done. And I don't think I've ever felt that way about a project before. I'm like, phew, it's done. Moving on to something else, I'm kind of like, what am I gonna do with my life now? Like, it was kind of sad. You ready to see it? Let me show you. This was my first foray into color work. Ta-da! Ta-da! So this is, instead of it being the gray wolf here, I changed it to orange and I did the color work. And yes, you can see it. And then here on the sleeves, you got the little paw prints on both the sleeves. You got the color work over here on the fox. And then the back. And then, in case nobody knew what I was talking about, I had to get the sweater or the shirt with Ryan Gosling. And then this is Rocky, his little alien friend in his little pod. This pattern is easy. And I did the color work, which I have never done color work before in my life, but it worked. It worked. Now, let me give you some specifics about this sweater, in case you decide you want to make it, which I highly encourage you to make it because it's fun and it's exactly the feel that I wanted. It's super soft and it's like drapey. So when I started this, now this is actually a man's sweater, so I made it in the smallest size possible, which was a 38, which is fine, because it's color work. And if you know with color work, as you're working these areas, because you're pulling the yarn across the colors, you can see this. Sometimes it can, if you don't keep your tension loose, it can make things really small. Like I actually took a hat that I was making, and by the time I finished it, I made it into like a little tiny baby beanie, and I actually had to frog the whole thing. So tension in color work is really, really crucial. I'm going to show you how I fixed that. But when it was done, it was it wasn't tight, but it wasn't like, this is supposed to have a zipper or buttons that come across the front. I'm not going to put any of those in there. It doesn't really matter. But it was like, it was kind of coming in here. It was really tight. And so I'm thinking, well, you know, usually with acrylic, I don't often block it because, I don't know, it's acrylic. It doesn't seem to, in my opinion, and I'm speaking this from now being corrected, it doesn't have the same pull that a natural fiber does, and so it doesn't really need to. But I did a little bit of research, and I was like, can you block acrylic? And it said, absolutely, you should. So I blocked it, just a lukewarm water with a little bit of like a lavender wash, lukewarm water, let it soak, really not very long, and then squeezed it out. I didn't wring it. I squeezed it all out, laid it outside, and blocked it, and boom, it absolutely, the yarn just kind of started to drape. So you can see like the sleeves were kind of like up here. Now they're perfect and long. This really opened up. It's nice and flat, whereas before it kind of puckered just a little bit where the color work was. I mean, this laid nice and flat. This was a little bit ridgy before. This is now laying nice and flat. Everything just did what it was supposed to do. Even in the back, where you had a lot of the color work and it was kind of puckering around, it just opened up. It's as if the fabric kind of blossomed. And because of the bamboo in here, I can't even tell you how soft this stuff is. It is the AntiPilling Premier Yarn with bamboo. $4 a ball. So this whole thing with all the balls, and I have quite a bit left. I have 4 or 5. I have 2 of these left, probably 2 of the terracotta, the brown color left, and pretty much almost a full of the black and a full of the red, because the red you just needed for the tongues. This little bit right here. So I have probably 4 or 5 balls left. All of that cost like $45, $50 for what I bought. And then I didn't even end up using all of it because it was, I think I had like probably 10 balls, something like that. So I have all this left. Now I did find another, because I love working with this yarn so much. I did find this pattern on the Premier website that uses this yarn, and I have enough. So I'm going to make this here with that. Highly, highly, highly encouraged. Color work is a little animal unto itself. So let me tell you the things that I found, because you don't want to draw the yarn all the way across. And there's 2 techniques. There's Fair Isle, and then there's like color work. And I think in my limited understanding, this is my first color work project. Depending on how far you have to carry the yarn or how many strands of yarn you have to use, depends on whether it's Fair Isle or like the color work kind of a thing. This pattern pretty much tells you everything you need to know, but let me give you a little bit of a caveat. It was written in the 1950s. So whatever they did, they basically took this pattern and they scanned it and they formatted it and into something that looked like this, more modern, and then they uploaded it. So there was definitely some errors in here. For instance, this page here, the first page is actually a repeat. It was very confusing because it starts off with this change to larger needles, but it doesn't tell you how many stitches you need to cast on for the beginning. And I had to reach out to the company, and I was like, this isn't making any sense to me. And she's like, no, here's the pattern. I was like, yeah, I know you already sent me the pattern, but it's still not making any sense. So she goes, okay, I see what you're talking about. So basically, you just kind of start on page 2 where it says instructions, and then you just go all the way through to the end. The color charts in here were brilliant, very easy to follow, and each one of these just represents 1 stitch. And then these little guys here represent, so each one of these little tiny blocks represents just 1 stitch. If you really wanted to do this in crochet, you absolutely could. Each one of these stitches would be a single crochet. That's it. It's just single crochet. It was single knit all the way across. There was nothing special. I had to do a couple decreases and a couple of increases depending on, which way I was going for the collar. This collar here was just in a garter stitch, which is just knit back and forth to give it this cool little ribbing. Really, It was very interesting. It was really pretty easy. It did get, I mean, this was a little tricky. This is how I did it, was I would use a red Sharpie marker and I would make a dot for each. So I would count across. And then when that row was done, then I would highlight it so I knew it was done. That's just what worked in my head. Having all the yarn strands coming down was can make you a little cuckoo, because all the yarns would be kind of like, you know, conflating and doing this. So let me show you the tools that I found that worked amazing. First of all, these guys here, these are yarn bobbins. I found these on KnitPick. I'll include the link. They come in 3 different sizes. Unfortunately, the large was out of stock, so I only got the smalls, and they come in a pack of like 4 or maybe even a little bit more. I can't remember. I'll include the link. So I got the smalls and the mediums because that's all they had in stock. But once they get the large, I'm getting those too. So all you do is you get yourself a strand of yarn, cut it long enough. I had balls hanging. I had balls hanging for every yarn, ball. I don't know what I was thinking. I was thinking it's regular knitting. This is not regular knitting. So what I would do is I would get myself a really nice long strand of the color that I needed, long enough that I thought it would take care of these areas, right? Maybe like that. And you just wind it onto the ball or to the bobbin, just like this. And then when you're done, it just pops down like that. So it holds the yarn in place. It's brilliant. And then the yarn just feeds right out of here. And it actually, the weight of the yarn, if you do like this, like a yo-yo, see, it actually unstrands. So you don't even really have to do much to undo it. It was so easy. What I did find was, that I needed to have more color strands. And, you know, somebody who's an expert in color work might just be pulling their hair right now going, no, you did it the wrong way. That's fine. Maybe I will do more color work because I love this one so much, and then maybe I'll learn more. When you learn better, then you do better. But right now, this worked for me. Okay, so let's take this, for instance. Here you can see it's in color. So I knew this is my orange, my black, my red, and then all of the whites. So what I would do is I would have like one long strand of orange coming through here, another long strand. So I might have 3 bobbins hanging down in the orange and probably 2 bobbins hanging down in the black. So one for here, so that the yarn isn't crossing all the way over, because from here over to here, there's nothing going on. So I would have this area here just in black, this area here just in black. And actually I would cut it and then probably move up to this area. So the yarn wasn't getting, that's how I did it. Then the reds would just stay right in here, but I would have probably orange coming down here and maybe 2 or 3 oranges. And then the whites, I would have the whites coming down over here and the whites coming down here. So I would knit across about halfway through. Then I would pick up the other one and then I would knit across and finish it that way. That's what worked for me. And as you can see, on the inside, there wasn't that much of a crossover. It actually worked out really well. There's not a lot of pull happening here, because this here, you don't want to snag, anything that you're working on, or you can get caught on stuff. So, and then again, there was really no puckering. There was just really no puckering. And especially when I blocked it, it just all came out easy. Absolutely a blast. I had a blast making this pattern. I miss it. I really do miss it. I'm definitely going to be doing more color work in the near future. But so excited. And I love, like I said, the way that it just draped. Once I blocked it, the bamboo just gives it this beautiful kind of a drape. And because it's a vintage sweater, it's supposed to have a little kind of a nubby, raw, sort of a used vintage look to it. And this yarn really lended itself to that kind of a drapey feel and that kind of a look. It was kind of a loose thing. It worked up really fast because it was the bamboo and it was a chunky, and it's just I did it. But let me tell you, the kicker for this was using these bobbins. I highly, highly, highly recommend. And I did get myself a chart keeper. These guys here, Brilliant. Now I have 2 of these. This came in from We Crochet and KnitPicks, but what you do, it really helps to keep the pattern in line. So what I would do is I would just take the pattern, the chart specifically, but you could use this with any pattern, and I just slide it down into the elastic band here, and then there's elastic bands down here, so you can kind of hold it in place. But then the band acts as a ruler, so you just line it up to where you are, and you just move it up and down. There's another one that I got that actually has magnetic, which is great, whatever works for you, but then it kind of can sit like an easel and sit on itself like this. So if you're going to do anything like this, you got to have the right tools for the right job. The right tools, you got to get yourself some of these yarn bobbins. Anytime you're doing any kind of color work, whether it's for knitting or crochet, these guys are game changers. And like I said, they come in small, medium, and large. As soon as they come back in stock in large, I'm getting those guys. And they sit together so easy. They come in a bag like this, and then they just stack together like this, and you just pop it apart. You just pop it open just like this, and then you got your nice spool inside here. Yarn or wind your yarn on. I'll show you. Super excited. Can you tell? You just wind your yarn on like this, and when you have enough, and it holds quite a bit, you just snip it, close it, done. That's it. I'm very excited. So that was my Project Hail Mary cardigan sweater. I cannot wait to wear this. I want to wear it out all the time. But like I said, this yarn, this baby is so soft. If I could knit like everything in the world in this, I would. Obviously I wouldn't because it's a bulky and whatever else, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful drape. Really, really lovely yarn. It is acrylic, but it's got that bamboo going on in there, so I could not be happier. All right. Thank you so much. If you're just tuning in or you're interested just in this sweater, I'm so glad that you're here. I'm going to include all the links below, all the research that I did. You don't have to do because I got to do it ahead of time. I'll send you a link for the pattern, the yarn that I used, these bobbins, the chart, the whole 9 yards. And if you have any questions about it, you decide to do it yourself, just email me, Kimberly@knitforbrains@gmail.com. I will help you figure this out, but it was very easy. If you are just joining us, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad that you found us. Tune in every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time when we do our lives. And if you don't get a chance to watch it, you can just watch it on the replay. That's fine too. Thanks so much for watching. This is Kimberly with Knit for Brains. And as always, I will see you soon.